What's up, y'all? It's your boy Craig Long, 45. Yes, I voted for Trump, and apparently I ain't black.
You ain't black.
And you ain't black.
You ain't black, baby. You ain't black at all.
That's it. I done already told y'all I ain't black.
That's true.
Welcome to the club.
Well, yeah. Well,
Ladies and gentlemen.
You're almost like me.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the boy Craig Long is in the building. We got a lot to talk about. Obviously, every single week on this show, we always talk about censorship. It feels like it's getting crazier and crazier.
Yeah.
I know my boy is getting censored. I know me. I can't go live. I had to do a backup. He had to do a backup. I know everybody that I know in the movement and that was in D.C. None of us can go live. Wow. What's going on with you over there in Florida, California?
Well, just like you guys, man, I've been demonetized. Like, here's the thing with me. Like, I know all of us been banned and censored, the whole nine, right? I've been in the game. Most of us been in the game for a while. We know what you can say and what you can't say, things that you should probably not post, stay away from that or this or that and the third, right? I ain't no different out here in California, right? I pay attention. I make sure I'm very strategic in making content and speaking about certain things. So after what took place in January 6th, I knew, okay, I sat back and I seen people's heads were getting knocked off, right? So I said, you know what? I'm gonna be strategic about it. Okay, they don't like nobody posting on anything. So I posted originally. I took them all down just to avoid the bullseye, right?
Right, the backlash.
Same thing on all the platforms, TikTok, IG, Facebook, all of them. I was very strategic in making sure that I didn't do so. Even when I would go live, I wouldn't talk about certain things. I was just being my normal self. And Kick, you've been on my live.
Yep.
I try not to. I'll veer away from certain things. I won't go into detail, right? So knowing that, and I want the people to understand that coming from me, and a lot of us think this way, we're going to be strategic and make sure that we don't post or say something just like we are right now before the show. Like, man, we watch the censorship. Yep. It's sad that we got to do mental backflips, mental gymnastic backflips in our mind and twist our tongue just to make sure we don't get censored. So we're in some crazy times, but knowing that information, they tried to take down a few pieces of content that did not go against community guidelines. And of course I appealed them and I won. They got all restored, including the live. They tried to ban my live on just using TikTok. I appealed it and they restored it.
There we go.
Since then, I haven't done anything to get banned or anything like that. They just decided, no, we banning them. So they banned me on
wait a
TikTok
second.
to the 23rd.
Craig, did you say TikTok actually, so the Chinese company,
the
Chinese were less censorious. Okay, wait, so the Communist Party is actually less.
Yes.
How about that for some irony?
But you know what, Craig? You actually brought up a good point because it's like a double-edged sword, right? It seems that in a way that their censorship is working to oppress our voices because even you just admitted that you have more regard into how you express yourself now. So would you say that you are censored now? You feel limited? For me, I feel like that makes me go even stronger with what I have to say. You know,
I do.
So how do you
go even stronger? I still put out the right message, but I understand the battlefield, right? Like, we're not fighting in 1776 no more, where everybody lines up and shoots muskets at each other. We're guerrilla warfare now. Like, all right, I'm not lining up.
Symbolic guerrilla warfare? Symbolic? Symbolic guerrilla warfare?
Yes, you're right.
It's spelled differently.
Like, all right, when it comes to this online, I'm going to be strategic on how I go about my message. But I'm still off the chain. They'll tell you, I'm off the chain, man. So, but yeah, you hit it on the nail. That is symbolic, everybody, for the note. We just have to move. And it's sad that we even have to be that way, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, no, I was talking about this earlier. So, I think I was talking about this with Craig that, you know, they had to take down at least like 5 of my posts. They said I went against community guidelines, you know, whatever. And they even threatened to delete me twice. I screenshotted the fact that they wanted to delete me,
posted that to let everybody know what's going on with me.
They took that down.
And you know what? And it's a screenshot saying you may be deleted. You want to know why?
Why?
It said because of nudity.
Nudity. So they just making up
Oh,
stuff now.
those chicks would pay money.
Yeah.
So they just making up stuff
They
now.
really are. They really are.
And that's the thing as well. That's something else I want to hit on. It's people mass reporting as well. So we're going up against some very intolerable people, man. Not only are the censorship, but people are mass reporting.
Well, do you think it would work in the adverse? Like if we were to mass report a Democrat
I've tried that,
who
so I'm glad you brought that up too, dude. I'm telling you, man. I'm off the chain, man. You know what I mean? I'm a MAGA Republican.
Yeah.
Right? I'm definitely not your regular Brooks brother, blue check Republican, Rhino Republican in name only. I'm definitely not that. I'm a new breed. I'm a MAGA Republican.
Yes, sir.
Right? All of us are MAGA Republicans.
Come on, let's go.
We aren't afraid to speak up.
That's
We're
true.
going to stand up. We're going to continue to do what's right.
Yeah.
The movement is bigger than Trump.
Yep.
The movement is these people of all shapes, sizes, and colors that want to make America great again.
Yes,
so I'm a MAGA Republican. When they do mass censorship, I've tried to create, I have a group to where we go and we meet fire with fire. And it's even with that, that's bias.
Yeah.
They won't take the content down, even with us doing mass reporting. So
Well, I mean,
I've
we're going against the big left oligarch technocracy. I mean, you know what I mean? Like we have the odds stacked against us.
Right.
The left has
Absolutely.
the entire narrative, all the platforms, all the way up to the billions of dollars from Mark Zuckerberg or all these left leaning CEOs that own these companies. And just recently, they keep telling us, well, we need to build our own platforms. We need to build our platforms. Well, then when we do, and we got Parler,
And they strike them.
they take that.
Yeah.
See, but we do have the ability to hit them where it hurts in the pockets. After they did that shameless ban, they lost about $50 billion in stock in
Twitter?
total. Yeah, Twitter and Facebook lost about $50
combined
billion in
yeah.
stock.
I actually shared that.
A lot of
That's
corporations
facts.
don't want to be involved with this.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you, Craig. You say, okay, I'm a new breed. I'm a MAGA Republican and not just, a more youthful and excited Republican. So what would you say the profile of this new MAGA Republican is? I mean, does he watch Fox News? Does he not watch Fox News?
A free thinker.
You say a free thinker. Everybody says they're a free thinker. I went to film school and I said, hey, I'm open-minded to one of my film professors. And he stopped me before I finished the sentence and he pointed right in my face. He said, be careful with that phrase because I've never met an intolerant person who didn't claim to be open-minded. You know what I'm saying? He says everybody claims they're open-minded, right?
Basically,
So-
yeah, I got you.
So what? How would you describe, like, if just an alien landed and you said, look, take all of the MAGA publicans with you, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, how would you describe him to this alien so that he could know who he was looking for?
Well, I never thought that I would have to explain myself to the alien, but that's fine. I would tell the alien that no, I mean MAGA Republicans we're your average Americans here. We're your average people in America, hardworking. We don't internalize everything. We don't blame the world, right? We know how to. It's your conservative principles and values all over again. Except we're not reserved.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
I don't want to get a sense of what.
I could tell you wanted to say something right now. And you're
I wanna
you're
say
like,
that.
I should.
You hold it back. You hold it
Say
back,
it.
man.
Go ahead.
You know what I mean? But basically, we're people that want to preserve America, the America that we once known.
Yeah.
Right. And it's sad I have to put it in that in that tense because it's no longer here anymore.
No.
Yeah.
They subtly it's a subtle communist. It's communism subtly, right? It's not full blown, but you guys can slowly see it.
Like how I said, it's an insidious thing. They're doing it
It's
step by
insidious.
step,
It's
little
like-
by little.
Yup.
And it's like a little thing at a time, and it seems to be innocuous. But before you know it, you're gonna wake up and you can't even walk outside your
what's
home.
that- what's
without
that-
police.
what's that
Rick, let's go
saying?
back to what.
What's that
Go ahead,
saying?
kid.
What's that saying
It
when?
happens little by little, then suddenly. You know what I'm saying?
It's like the frog boiling the frog in the water.
boiling
You
the
turn
frog.
up the heat slowly but surely. We started this censorship started happening 4 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then now it's just intensifying to where the pot is getting hotter and hotter, and everybody's starting to realize, hey, not both people on the right and left. Hopefully, the left will understand that this is dangerous. It's dangerous.
I don't think
we've seen it through different individuals. We've seen it through Alex Jones.
Yep, he was the first one.
Farrakhan, right? See, I can hit both sides. Someone that's completely on the left or on the right, or independent. We've seen censorship, but not at this level. Right. And it kind of reminds me of what Malcolm X said about the Democrat, right?
The white liberal?
Like a little fox that nibbles away at you, and before you know it, he's devoured half of you. So I feel like it's like he said, it's insidious. It's this subtle communism brought in because they know they can't just full-fledged force come in and people would be objected to that.
Craig,
they're going to get people to agree to giving away their constitutional rights.
Right. And they're doing it. And you just hit it on the nail. They're doing it now.
They don't have to take it.
You have people on the left saying, yeah, they should be able to censor you guys and ban you. Right. They're in agreement to taking away their own rights.
Hey, Craig, I know you brought this up and I love this point. You said first it was with Alex. And remember what he said when he got banned on all platforms? He said, they're coming after me. I'm the test pilot. You are all next.
Yep.
And
we see happening. Look exactly what's happening on a consistent basis. I mean, we're constantly being attacked. And I'm going to be real. I mean, it's pretty much on the right. It's pretty much on the right. Yeah, the left gets it here and there, but, I guess they do it to kind of save face. But at the end of the day, we're getting attacked 24/7. We're having our accounts taken down. We got to come up with backup accounts on the regular just to have them on deck. So in case they come at us, we're ready. Exactly. So I really think that we need to, call it as we see it, and what it is we are being attacked on the right. Well, the right is being attacked.
I don't necessarily lose hope on this though, because just for example, who you sound exactly like, Craig, is Brett Weinstein. Not Brett Weinstein. He's the brother. Eric Weinstein was just on Glenn Beck this week. And I got to tell you, Eric Weinstein, I was a physics major in college for a period of time. This guy won a bunch of awards for basically making the modern equivalent of like E equals MC squared, shall we say. He's a wildly intellectual academic who's very smart, who has hated Republicans basically his entire life, But he just had a very interesting and very poignant podcast with Glenn Beck, in which he opens up and he says, I came on your show after having basically avoided you for years because he said, I would sacrifice anything to get my country back. He said, I would give up my nice apartment and move back to a studio. I would get rid of my nice car and I would go back to walking. If that's what it took for me to get my country back. And what my country was like was not this censorious nonsense. And he started actually talking about the exact same thing you did. So I have a little bit of hope because, if finally those who literally openly 6 months ago on the Joe Rogan podcast admitted that they hated Republicans and viewed them as the people that wanted to make a parking lot out of Yosemite, which is like basically kind of what he said, if him, and when you read the works of Jonathan Haidt, who's another thinker on the left, I think there's a time in which echo chambers can't contain a boom so loud that it actually breaks the echo chamber. And now that these people are getting censored, I think hopefully we reach that point, because we all know this canary's in the coal mine. And it was actually a leftist. It was I was listening to the story even before Alex Jones. You guys may not remember this, but the Daily Stormer was actually censored and was taken off of.
But you know what? That's why, because you mentioned you think you have that there could be hope. That's why I only put my hope and faith in God.
Let's go.
The hope in these people right now.
Let's go.
It doesn't look like it's getting better. You had just yesterday, right?
Yeah, but hold on. But before
Don Lemon went on CNN and he said everybody who voted.
Don't get me started on no Don.
Wait, but just let's finish this thought though. Let's finish this thought though, because when the Daily Stormer was censored, the intern who took it off of it went off of GoDaddy, then they went to another server, then went to another server, and then finally, the fourth independent server, the guy walked up and he said, I erased the Daily Stormer as you asked, and he handed him the service ticket, and he said, is this the day the internet died? The young technician who took the Daily Stormer off their services, even though, just like all of us, he completely disagreed. Obviously, look at you guys. I have a feeling you disagree with most things said on the Daily Stormer. You know what I'm saying? But even he knew that if you don't believe in free speech if you are willing to erase the speech of the person you disagree with most.
Yep,
And so
that's it.
handing the service ticket in to erase it, he actually said, is this the day the internet died? You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I feel like it's not going to get any better anytime soon. Because you have these people that are still in positions of power, positions that people look up to, positions of authority, and they're putting this divisive narrative out there. They're putting the divisive narrative that all of us right here supported white supremacy and Nazis.
Oh my goodness.
That's the theory that they're putting out there.
Now, I have family members say, "Oh well, you align yourself with white supremacy."
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I'm okay with a complete separation. I am okay with never having to get along with far left Democrats again. I'm okay with that. We don't have to all get along. Why can't we just be separate, but we can still respect each other?
I'm not trying to unify with these people.
Exactly. I don't want unity.
How can you?
and you know, honestly, I'm a big preacher of unity. I've been a big preacher of unity. I will never be able to unify with the far left. Now, with the moderates, you know, hey, there's some wiggle room. You know, the centrists, hey, let's go. But when it comes to the far left, there's no way I can align with them on certain topics.
It's like you're asking us to unify with evil.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, think of it this way.
There's no way I can unify with
Thank you.
I mean, think of it this way. They promote socialism and communism. America was built.
Anti-American ideals.
We fought communism. We are not communism. That is the opposite of capitalism.
Right.
That's what made America is free enterprise. That's why Trump is about. He has that economic vibe to him because he understands he made the American dream. The American dream. Even Barack Obama said the American dream is to be like Trump. And so, how are we going to align with people that push socialism and communism? No, there is no acquiescing to that idea. What do you think about that?
You know what?
No matter how much logic you give them, they don't understand.
Oh, of course not.
I remember. I love the story of Ronald Reagan when he's talking about the Cuban refugee that fled Castro and he made it on the U.S. soil. And they were saying, man, someone looked to the guy and said, man, we're lucky we made it. He said, no. He pointed to us talking about Americans. No, you guys are lucky. The fact that he has somewhere to actually flee and escape to, right? So basically, in a nutshell, what Ronald Reagan was saying through that guy's statement was, if we lose our freedoms here in America, there's no other place to escape to. Yep. This is it. We have no other place to go. This is why there's waiting lists by the millions.
Thank you.
Of people trying to get into this country.
The
border, the problems at our border, right? They want to build the wall and the problem, everything at our border. This is why there's so many people trying to come here, because we are a free country.
Yeah. But you know what?
The American dream. People can provide for their family. They can change the way that they're living from these communist dictator countries, right? These socialist countries. And this is how I know people, they've never traveled anywhere. They haven't brought in
preach
their
on
horizon.
it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They don't even. You got people that they only travel right down the street to go downtown and go party and listen to the suicidal poetry with good beats like WAP and all these gangster rap music. They ain't been nowhere in the world.
Exactly.
They haven't even left their county or their city. They haven't gone and seen and experienced life to know that they live in one of the best countries in the world, which is America.
But you know what, Craig? Everything that you just mentioned about how we're blessed here, but because people have a place to flee from, the scary part is that there are people right here in America in their 50s and 60s, right? Grown people. And they are telling me that the reason why they're happy for this inauguration is because Kamala Harris went to Howard University, and Howard University is in Washington, D.C. So you're going to have all the sororities and the fraternities be able to feel a sense of achievement that you have a black soror in the White House. That's the only reason why they're happy. Communism be damned. So people like that, I feel like, are the dangerous people because they have strength in numbers. So you multiply that times a million, times another million, times everybody who graduated from a black college, times everybody who's part of the same soror that she is, and they don't even care about her communist policies.
Well, that's the thing. You know, back in the day, there used to be a difference in what a liberal was. You know, liberals and conservatives, you know, they disagreed in how they went about affecting policy, but at the end of the day, they both loved America. And they wanted the
That's the
best
thing.
for America. That's not what it is anymore.
That's
Not
what unified them.
anymore.
Exactly.
Their love for America.
Thank you.
Now it's an
It is
opposition.
warped
That's
into
not-
that alien, them aliens that he was talking about coming down to the earth earlier.
Yeah.
That's what it's warped into. And that's me being funny.
You know,
It's identity politics all over again.
Yeah.
you know, and I'm gonna say this right now because we're talking about it. You know, we have to get back to that American root. When I say root, I mean the spirit of America, right? That spirit of America, that 1776 spirit. And you know, when we talk about the numbers of there's millions of them, there's millions of us. I mean, we got a third of the. A third of the United States voted for Trump, right? And nearly almost 100 million, right? Because they say 70 million, but that's, come on now. And so,
You and you alone are responsible for the claims that you make on this channel. No, it was
fact
70
checks.
something, you know.
the fact checkers just came in. Sorry, guys. And so I'm looking at it this way, and I'm going, you know what? We are at a critical point that is going to dictate the rest of the country and the world in 3 days.
Yep.
3 days. 3 days.
I think we get the
Bro,
point.
his first priority was to let. His first priority was to allow 8-year-olds to choose what they want
You
to
see
be.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
If they want to be a
choose their
Tyrannosaurus
gender.
Rex,
Yeah.
come home and tell mommy and daddy, I think today I want to be a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I'm going to dress up like a dinosaur and I'm going to speak like a dinosaur.
You got it.
And my new name is Tyrannosaurus Rex. That's his first priority. When we have all these other issues going on,
Thank you.
you guys went blank face on me like,
Yeah, that's real.
No, because that's interesting. I feel like that's going to be an insidious step to this whole pedophilia LGBT.
Yup,
So if the
it's
8-year-old
subtle
says
again,
that
dude.
I identify as a 25-year-old woman, but he's an 8-year-old boy, so does that mean that he can go have sex with men because he identifies as a 25-year-old woman?
It's an oxymoron to me. It's an oxymoron to me. It never makes any sense. It's nonsensical.
Yeah.
We have portions that would complain, oh, you charging children as adults. And they're getting life sentences.
Yeah, speak on
They're
it.
just children. Their
Speak on
brains
it.
haven't developed
Speak
yet.
on it.
But then on the other hand, they
Right.
can choose to put high heels on.
Thank you.
Now,
It's so
I know
arbitrary.
I ain't trying to. I know I'm being a little raw, but it is what it is. On
Be raw,
one
man.
hand-
It's just point
on
blank.
one hand, it's these kids. We can't charge them as adults. They're just minors. They're children. Their brains haven't fully developed to get 20, 30-year sentences for committing a crime. But then on the other hand, it's okay for them to say, no. You know, they're old enough to make the decision. They know.
Right, to put hormones
They
in their
know.
body.
No,
They're old enough to make a life-changing decision.
Scientifically,
Yeah.
scientifically, when you grow up as a child, your brain doesn't fully develop to the age of 25, 26.
Let's go.
Exactly.
Let's go.
They don't have the right to determine what they believe or don't believe until they actually develop their mind. And to put out there that, oh, you can be this or can be that, it's child abuse because in aspects they didn't even think about it until you brought it up.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
bringing it
Yeah.
up is the problem.
Not
Stop
only
bringing
is
it
it
up.
child abuse, it's a lie.
Absolutely.
A 10-year-old boy cannot be a girl.
I'm sorry.
A 10-year-old girl cannot be a boy.
And
I'm
we
sorry.
need to accept
It's a lie.
A 35-year-old man cannot. I don't care
Thank
what
you.
he is.
Thank you.
I mean,
That's real.
but a 45-year-old man, if he wants to put on a dress, then that's his business.
That's his decision.
But he's still not a woman.
But see, and that's why. Like, here's my question. Okay, so
Oh my God, we're so
yeah.
sexist.
We here we go. Here we go down the rabbit hole. We go. You know what I'm saying?
Actually,
Yo.
that just shows how unwoke you are because technically now, since all gender is fluid, you can't be called sexist because how can you?
Exactly.
Guys,
You know,
guys,
the same.
public service announcement. These people are mentally ill. We can't keep up with this at all. It's just,
It's
I think they
it's
just
mental
added another
gymnastics.
letter.
Yeah, exactly.
alphabet
Exactly.
and I've said it.
Cartwheels in our mind.
I've said it before. I said I truly feel that pedophilia has infiltrated the LGBTQ community.
It has, yeah.
That's just
has.
it.
They're going to put the
look,
P in the
you know,
LGBTP. Pedophilia is going to be one of
Plus,
those
You
letters.
better
Watch.
believe it. You better
Yeah,
believe it.
The ABCDEFG community.
Yeah.
There's people that I know that's their thing. They even say this has morphed into something
Yeah.
beyond me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that's true
You know what I
because
mean?
a lot of LGBT people don't agree
Agree
with
with
that
this.
either.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've heard
Exactly.
them say that. So,
Yeah.
not to be on that subject, but it's just kind of just shows you where our world and where our country is going, man.
And it goes to show you that once again, I'm pretty sure it's white liberals that are taking over the LGBT movement and telling them what's best for their movement.
But look what's going on. I mean, look at what all these type of policies, all these type of ideologies, it's all on the left.
Yeah.
Whenever the left is in charge, they always come up with some type of ridiculous notions of how we're supposed to live our lives as Americans. It's always anti-American. It's always anti-science. It's always anti-anything logical. And here we are. We're in another situation where we got Joe Biden and Kamala Harris at the helm. You better believe they're going to come after our guns. They're going to come after our religious freedoms. They're already coming after our children. So I mean,
they're
this
already
is
coming after our religion.
Thank you.
Yeah. They're saying a man and a woman at the end of
That
the prayer.
man,
they don't believe in God.
They
you
don't.
I
always said, if you voted for Democrat or you support the Democrats, you support demonic ways.
Well, John Adams said, the first president said, look, the Constitution is meant only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. We all understand which side is trying to tear down the Constitution. It's always the left, because they are amoral and irreligious. So it just goes to show how much the left really cannot stand the Constitution. They can't stand the United States as a result of not being able to stand the Constitution. So of course they're going to tear it all down at any chance that they get. And now they're at the helm. Here we go.
So here's a question for you. Let's talk solutions here.
Yes, sir.
Because I have said it multiple times on our show. Okay, so what do? I mean, we can moan about it. And we can say, hypocrisy
we need
this,
solutions.
hypocrisy that.
Yeah.
I don't think building our own social media platform is actually going to work.
Sir.
Because the Amazon owns 80% of the internet, so on and so forth. I think they're going to go after Fox News, and that's going to go away. And then they're going to get rid of OANN, and they're going to get rid of Newsmax. So I think alternative media isn't the answer. I really only think there's one thing, and I've been saying this for years, and you know who just repeated what I said? Tucker Carlson. So I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that he watches our show. I literally think conservatives, kind of like the ancient Jews did in the book of Deuteronomy, of just marrying within the covenant and having lots of children. I think conservatives just being hyper mature and saying, okay, I'm going to go out, I'm going to find a wife, I'm going to have as many kids as I can, and I'm going to teach them correct principles.
We're going to breed them out.
And let them. You joke, but the average conservative family has like 2.3 children. The average, conservative couple has like 2.5 kids. The average liberal couple only has about 1.5. So though they control 93% of all journalists and 80% of the media, and it's an uphill battle as a conservative on the media scale, when it comes to birthing, like I literally think the only way that conservative America will survive is to outbreed the leftists that want to censor
them. But that could be a slippery slope, because that's right to assume that how one raises their kids is how you're going to be.
That's why you have to have a bunch of them.
Yeah. I mean, just
we gotta be like fish. We're like salmon trying to make it upstream, dog. Gotta lay as many eggs as we can.
Here's where they'll get us on
upstream.
What? Here's where they're getting us with that. This is where we went wrong as well. The left, they own and run most of the major institutes in this country.
Even college.
Even if we outbreed them, we got to get our children educated.
Exactly.
If we send them to their schools, which are nothing but indoctrination camps, which is what Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk, and them been telling us, they have to have massive security when they're on these campuses just because they're conservative.
Yeah, but look at all of their numbers. Because student loans are going down, you got to read about Gen Z. Gen Z is amazing. In the Book of Mormon, they call it the pride cycle, where people forget God and then they experience poverty and decline, and then they remember him and they go back to having a good society. Just like
the Protestant child.
Just like in the Marines, I had a friend who was a Marine that said, tough times create tough people create good times create soft people, soft people create hard times.
There it is.
Yeah. So we're living. I'm sorry, boomers, but you ruined America, and your Gen Xer kids put the cherry on top and sucked. So that millennials basically are the lost generation that has no wealth.
Millennials got screwed.
Millennials got screwed. But Gen Z is smart, because Gen Z are all the kids that were raised by the younger Gen Xers who grew up in the economic decline of Barack Obama. They saw that, college only gives you crippling student loans that keep you from ever getting married and
got
having
it.
a house.
You got
They're
it.
like, I'm going to save my money. When you look at Gen Z, they get less tattoos. They don't go out and drink, except for some social issues like gay marriage, which really, honestly, nobody even really cares about anymore. You know what I'm saying? Except for a couple of social issues like that. They're wildly more conservative. Why? Because they see there's a natural law to things that when disobeyed creates nothing but poverty and chaos, and they want to get out of it. There's a reason why guys like Jordan Peterson are able to sell books so simple as make your bed in the morning, be responsible,
You have a point.
and be perceived as thought
That's a good
leaders.
point.
So I actually have a lot of hope. I have hope that there's going to be enough minds on the left that are seeing the chaos and insanity that, like Eric Weinstein, are now agreeing to sit down and talk with Glenn Beck to save America. And the children, I was a voluntary seminary instructor. I was a voluntary Boy Scout assistant troop master for a long time, and I learned long ago that you will go farther in understanding kids if you approach them from the position that they're smart instead of that they're stupid.
Right.
And if you approach Gen Z from the position that we think it's smart, you will realize some serious nuance here, that they see the idiocy of the left. And guess what, Craig? They're not going to college. And that's not because they're dumb. That's because they recognize, wow,
Speak on it.
yeah, my dad went to college and got $100,000 in loans, but never really made a lot of money until he actually went back and he got his electrical and engineering degree, but he never started making money until he became an electrician. So maybe I should just, become an apprentice to him and go get my electrician C15 and live a happy life making six figures. Because my buddies that got freaking a PhD in gender studies, they can barely get a part-time job as an adjunct faculty
And
at
those are the
UCLA.
millennials. And those are the millennials.
Yeah.
Those are the millennials that have that. Exactly.
So I actually think conservatives are screwed for 10 years.
Okay.
I think these are the days of tribulation, brother. And
Are you
just
libertarian?
yeah. Well,
He's infiltrated our show.
Yeah.
We didn't know until after the fact.
Now we know.
Oh, they are getting censored slowly, going away.
Well, conservatism is still on the side of God. I've never met a conservative that did not believe in God, or I've never met a conservative that didn't have an allegiance to religion.
Right.
So I feel like we can't be dead. We can't go anywhere because God is here. God got our back.
Yes, indeed.
You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, as long as you stand for righteousness and don't be persuaded or dissuaded into going to the left because it's popular by popular belief, like how they got to saying, if everybody jumped off of a bridge, would you jump off of a bridge? So I feel like how you mentioned, Cardon, the younger generation now, they not only are they smarter, but they're starting to think more for themselves and not feel oppressed.
So are you saying that we're going to do better because we got Black Jesus, who's a lot better than that? He's a lot better than that boring Nordic Jesus.
Oh, good.
I don't even know who that Nordic person is.
You know what? I'm gonna speak on something that Cardon said. Here's the thing that really I take hope in is that there are some dark times ahead, but that's when you get the brave among us to stand up. That's when you get your soldiers. That's when you get your warriors. That's when you get your champions and your
Symbolic
heroes.
soldiers. Symbolic soldiers.
I meant real ones.
Right.
That's a metaphor that he means in metaphoric terms.
There we go. Thank you. But that's why I really believe that it's times like this that breeds the strength that it needs to get through these dark times. I mean, you think about what happened during the civil rights era.
Yeah.
You got your Rosa Parks, you got your Martin Luther Kings, your Malcolm X's that were birthed due to conflict. And due to conflict that's going on right now, due to the censorship, due to all the type of crap that we're experiencing on a consistent basis on the conservative side, you better believe there's going to be a whole lot more conservative warriors that are going to be standing up for whatever our right principles. You're going to have what we say demon slayers get into office. Who's going to stand up for conservative principles, Republican principles, and you better believe they're going to be ones. We're going to be the ones that are going to lead the charge into the future of what it really is supposed to be.
You know what? Because who said it best? You can kill the revolutionary, but you can't kill the revolution.
Boy, I'm gonna need you to preach
something. Hey, so Craig, really quickly. Really quickly. What is on your radar moving forward for us in our movement moving forward? Because again, we have 3 days until the decision of the country and the world. What is on your radar?
Question.
3 days until the siege of America.
What is on your radar?
Whoa! We didn't
From
say that.
within.
We meant the symbolic.
Symbolic siege.
There will be no
The Democrats
siege.
are trying to seize,
Yeah,
is what
yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah.
Let me be clear of that. The
Yeah.
Democrats are seizing America before the
I mean,
world.
I might upset some people on this, but I feel like in order for us to start adapting to the battle, metaphorically the battlefield.
Yes. Good job. Good save.
I'm catching on.
Hey, you got that Duck Dynasty mustache and beard now.
Yeah,
You
man.
gotta be watching what you say, dog.
And he out there from Florida, from the South too.
It's all
so-
figuratively.
Yeah.
I'm a white man. That's wrong.
Well, you ain't black, so it's all good.
This could upset some people, but I feel like where we are right now, and when I say upset people, there's some politicians and people that are on the right that I'm a little upset about. That a lot of the things that they said that are supposed to come down, arrest and this and release that, and this is biblical. I don't think I'll ever be able to forgive them.
Names. We want names.
Oh, I mean, obviously, the Kraken was never released. I know what you're talking about. Go ahead, continue.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like in order for now to start moving in the direction to where we need to start working ground roots and working our way into the next round of presidency again, is we have to stop. A lot of the information that's floating around now, it seems to be like a rabbit hole. It seems like we're going down another rabbit hole here.
Yeah.
There's still, and I could be wrong, there may be another something in the back pocket. I don't know. And if it is, I'll come back on the show and I'll say, hey, guys, I was wrong. There was something else, man, that was great. But I'm like, look, 3 days, House, Senate, presidency, their behaviors, how they take one incident from the right compared to their tyranny for the last 4 years, just using 2020.
And you bring that up, and now I'm thinking about it right now. Like you said, they had the House. They could possibly have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. Yeah. And you know what? I've been saying this, and I'm going to keep saying this. When the left gets power again, that they had stolen in 2000, they're never going to let it go.
And that's what they've wanted. To control all three sectors.
Yeah, you got it.
And obviously they have the censorship to stop us when we speak out about it. So moving forward, how do we, from Craig Long, how do we move forward from this?
We have to. Everybody on here knows Topher, right? I'm good friends with Topher. Topher told me once. He said, "Stay the course." Yeah. For some of us, we must continue on staying on the course, right? And for some people reach their destination sooner than other people. So there's a lot of people in this movement, which we're starting to see, right? A lot of us have been condemned just for being in DC. So there's a lot of people that maybe they've reached their destination and it's time for them to hop off the bus for this ride this course that we're continuing to have to keep going on.
Maybe.
Got you.
And that staying steady on that course, that journey that is ahead of us, that mountain that is ahead of us, we have to continue to fight. And when I say fight, it doesn't mean go out and punch somebody in the face or nothing like that. There's a lot of different ways to fight. Right? There's a lot of, you can start with yourself. You can start with your family, right? Teaching your children conservative principles and values.
Starting at home.
Putting God
That's where it starts
first,
in the first place.
right?
Hey, you're just stealing my line, man. Having lots of babies and outbreeding them with good lessons.
Yes.
Lots of practice, having babies, teaching those babies and your family, those principles and those values. Giving them a moral compass that God is in control, put God first. And a lot of the ways of the world right now are ungodly, right? So there's a lot of different ways to fight. That course, you can get involved in local politics.
Yes, sir.
You can create organizations. You can create podcasts like You Ain't Black or Maga Publicans. You can create support groups, chat groups. You can use your voice. You can use your experiences to preserve the American dream, right? Like myself, I'm an example of the American dream.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
an example of American exceptionalism.
Yes, sir.
Here I am. I used to be black until I voted for Trump.
Right.
Now I'm white, right? But if I go back into my days when I was black, considered black,
Right.
you know, I grew up in those rural areas that these rappers love to talk about. I've been out there. I've gang banged. I've sold drugs and did a lot of the things that we all know that takes place in the hood.
Yes,
right?
And after the statute of limitations ran out, he did not confess to anything on this channel.
I'm already done all my time. But I
No double jeopardy for you.
I'm saying that. But basically, I grew up in those areas. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon. My actions and the way that I thought of myself and viewed the world led me to doing prison time.
Yeah.
Right? Here I am, a black man, out just living wrong, destroying my community, living for myself and not for other people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Led me to doing prison time. I shot 2 people point blank range. I had gotten myself in trouble. I served 6 years in prison, first time felon for what I got in trouble for. Came home with nothing. $25 to my name in a paper ID. I've lived on people's couch. I've lived in my car. I've been homeless.
Come on.
But it never stopped me. I never viewed myself as I'm black in America. The system has me down.
Right.
Someone has their foot on my neck. You know what I mean? I'm never going to make it anywhere because I'm a felon and I'm black. I just never thought of myself that way. And I was lucky enough to have family that never brought me up like that. Believe it or not, my parents, they are conservative.
Let's go.
Yeah.
They brought me up conservative. They're about as liberal as hell now. And that's a different story. They buy into those liberal ideologies, right?
Typical
But that's
fact,
another story. But to
family.
end my story so people can have an understanding of who I am. After all that I just named you, coming home from prison, having nothing, 11 years later, I run my own business. I'm a small business owner here in America. So I know I've actually built something in this country.
Exactly.
And I know what it takes to do so. I've received every single kind of loan that you can think of. I have staff. I have a great staff team. I'm in a leadership role. I serve my community many different ways just through having my small business. And I say that all just to let people know, like, look, the American dream is real. Look at this guy comes from nothing to what he is doing today. And on top of that, just to add the cherry on top of that, not only have I received all my civil rights back, but I went to prison and lost all my rights for using a firearm. I shot 2 people point blank range, tried to kill them. Thank God that they didn't die when I was living wrong. I had another chance. I received all my civil rights, including my Second Amendment rights.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
So
go.
when you tell me that this country is, the whole system is white supremacist, is racist, and black people can't do this and people can't do that, that narrative for me is wrong.
Yeah.
And I want to be a
You lived
beacon. I want to be a light.
Because you live
Not
it.
just for black people and minorities, but for everybody in America. For just humankind, that, hey, like Blake Shelton says, this is God's country.
Yep.
We live in God's country,
God's
and
country.
we need to preserve that.
Yeah.
We need to intact that. Conservative principles and values in which I went back to saved my life, and I believe it can save other people's lives. It can save their families' lives.
Yeah.
It'll save their community, and it'll save this country.
Yeah,
And that's just what it is. That's where I stand.
Yeah.
And I want people to know that. I want them to know that nothing holds you back. Nothing stops you. We live in one of the greatest countries. This is why there's people by a waiting list by the millions to come to this country.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we have pockets of communities and people in this country that just, they come off as they hate America.
Raphael Warnock,
if I
move
could-
aside. We got Craig Long preaching.
Yeah, preach, brother.
Well,
Preach.
I'm telling you, it's so not only is America great, and America has always been great. I'm an example of one of many stories. We have to preserve that and we have to protect that. I tell people this all the time. This is my phrase. People know me for it. Your freedom today is not your freedom tomorrow. You have to fight for it.
Yes, sir.
yeah.
You have to fight for it every day. It doesn't matter if it's insidious or it's subtle. They are constantly attacking
Yeah.
that American freedom, that American republic that we have. that Constitution that protects us all, that makes this country the way it is, that gives these people on the left the ability to express themselves and wanting to be dinosaurs, or use that bathroom, or this, or take mother and father out of that and pass this or do that. It's the same Constitution that's protecting them. But unfortunately, we see now that it's a battle between good versus evil. So we have to preserve it. We have to maintain we are the godly party, right?
Yeah.
We're the ones that keep it intact. We use moral and principality and put God first. And it's like, hey, what is who are conservatives? We're pro-God.
Thank you.
Pro-life.
Pro-gun.
Thank you.
Pro-Constitution.
Definitely
Pro-gun.
Pro-gun.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, this is where I stand. So that movement and the coming up with the solutions, maybe it is breeding them out, right? Maybe it is breeding them out. Maybe it is teaching them the principles and values of conservatism, right?
Yeah.
So that's the fight. That's the solution.
If I
for
can
right
just
now.
echo,
Create the organizations. Use your voice. You have a story. Inspire people. Be a light. You know what I mean? Use yourself. Don't just exist. Live with purpose, right? Like I said in the beginning of my story, I used to live for myself. Now this is the Craig that lives for other people.
Yeah. And if I can just echo some of that, because you're saying putting God first, and that's what I really believe is a solution, because the society can be corrupt all day long, right? Society can even make it an incentive for single mothers. Society can make it an incentive to sell drugs. But if you put God first, and if you have aspirations that go beyond what society has, then I think that's where it starts. It starts in the home, right? So just like how you were saying, having kids, keeping the father in the home and teaching your kids the right way, because that's not going to stop WAP songs being thrown in their face all day. That's not going to stop drugs being around. That's not going to stop alcoholism. That's not going to stop none of that. But it starts in here for you to take it or leave it and say, you know what? I'm going to pass on that WAP song. I'm going to pass on this lifestyle, and I'm going to go in this direction.
And, I don't want to butcher it, but I remember the actual scripture that said, trust in God, or but make sure you tap your camel or something like that. And we are going to move forward with God in our beliefs, but at the same time, I feel like action is needed, because I see, like we talked about before, when the left takes power again, when they lost it in 2016, they went crazy for the last 4 years. Because they understood that their time was up. Their time is up. And now if they do gain power again, I'm looking at the future, even though that we're going to move forward and breed out, because we do have on average more children than the left. But again,
I believe Prager, you just put that out too. Put out something talking about the statistics of we have more children.
And I think that's great for the long term. But again, when they take power back, I said it
first.
Give him his credit. Give him his credit.
His due.
But I wanted to say that that's a long term effort. But again, in the current stage that we are now, and they're never going to give back power. They're going to take power and never give it back. The short term, that's obviously a long term goal, but the short term is how we're going to fight now, because I see in the near distant future that us conservatives are going to be those that are searched out and prosecuted. We are going to be prosecuted in the short term. And remember those times where we see in history that those during the Nazi era with the Jews or whatnot, you have to hide. Those people have to hide. You have to walk through the streets.
Ready to say that.
Yeah, you have to walk through the streets and watch your
back.
Gotta
be underground.
You got to be underground. So
MAGA hats will eventually our MAGA hats will go off. We'll have hats like.
What have they called us?
MAGA hat will have just the American flag on it. We have to make it so we are not easily identified.
What are we going to call you? Not MAGA Hulk anymore. We're going to call you Patriot Hulk?
I will always be MAGA Hulk. I will always be MAGA Hulk. I will always stand.
I will come visit you in prison.
Yes,
let me
indeed.
tell you.
Kamala Harris. Put money on my daggone books. I want my ramen spread. Maybe you'll visit. I need my spread, baby. I want my spread.
Because we all know that Kamala Harris has zero problems putting black men in prison.
Ain't lying.
That's true. Yeah.
That's true.
And holding you
and
after
keeping them
parole.
in there, right?
And
Keeping them in
there,
there for
exactly.
free labor.
She's gonna look at you, Maga, and she's
say,
gonna
"You
think,
can do
now
a lot of
there's
free
some
labor."
prison labor.
That's a lot of
Now
free
there's
labor.
some
Hey,
prison
guys,
Big,
guys.
strong,
Hey,
buck like
I
you.
can see Mega Hulk in prison with the tattoos and a cigarette in his ear, like what's
Busting
up?
up
You know
rocks.
what I'm saying? Yeah, man.
Doing parlays.
Kamala
What's
put
my
you on a
king?
chain gang.
She probably would too. She probably would, man.
You know,
Shoot.
we're laughing about this, but at the same time, I just got to always remember that, again, in the short term, we really have to understand that there's a chance that we might have to go. Not might. We have to go underground. Because if they get power, which I don't think that they will, I think President Trump has something. I don't have the Q whole conspiracy, but I do think he has something on his sleeve. But for the most part, it looks like it might not happen. We're gonna see the next 3 days, but in these 3 days, we got to remember that if worst comes to worst, do we have to go underground? Because the censorship is going to continue.
Well,
Maybe not underground so much as succeed. Maybe.
Well, here's
what's our options?
Here's what I truly believe. You know what I'm saying? And I think I've been saying this for a while now. It's time for blacks to stand up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, we're the voices that people listen to. We're the voices. I mean, we're the marginalized community. We're the marginalized groups. Yep. So when we start standing up and speaking out,
change the narrative.
Exactly, we change the narrative.
Look at that. We're also one of the most. We're also one of the voices that needs the most work at home.
Thank you.
And we shouldn't be looking to Democrat politicians to solve our problems. That begins in the home.
They use us like pawns.
Come
they
on,
leverage us to get their political agendas through anyway.
Yep.
I mean, look at what just using 2020 through the acronym movements. Look how they were able to leverage that. The right does one thing. January, the right does one thing.
Lord have mercy.
Look at all the tyranny all last year, man.
Yeah.
Rioting, looting.
He's right. It's like we have when we start speaking out on things, it like impacts.
Yes, sir.
It makes so much more impact. And I have a lot of different ethnicities and shades of color of people that support me, and I'm sure you guys do too. And the amount of thank you, I really appreciate the things that you're saying and the things that you're doing, because I can't do it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Thank you for saying
I hear the same thing.
We can say that.
We can say that.
Yeah.
We got carte blanche.
You've heard that too. I've heard that too.
People come up to me in a grocery store all the time and say that.
Thank you for doing what I wish what I could do. You know what I'm saying?
You say that's our black privilege?
No, that's real.
Literally.
We got
That's
that.
real.
That's a thing. That's a real thing. It flipped, right? It flipped. Back in the day, back when, you can shoot a black person, string them up and everything, put them in the tree, and they would take pictures, laugh or whatever, have a good time. Now, it's black privilege. We can say whatever we want. We can do whatever we want. We could be dead in the wrong, shoot someone point blank range, or shoot a cop point blank range,
Somehow
and the cop
they're the victim.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Exactly.
They're always the bad guys. So it's time for us, since we got the black privilege, since we got the black card, it's time for us to go ahead and utilize that and be able to put forth a narrative that's going to uplift the American people and stand for the white community.
And
overall right thing to do for humanity.
Exactly.
Martin Luther King did it too. Martin Luther King was not for a specific just for black folks. He wanted
for everybody.
Equality for
Thank
humanity.
you.
Humanity,
Mankind.
free humanity,
Yes,
free
indeed.
humanity, and that's what this country's built on. This is what all the countries look to all the other countries of the world look towards us because we are that beacon of hope.
But now they're laughing at us.
We're the laughing stock.
They don't see us as America. It's a symbol of free humanity.
Yes.
A lot of people don't understand that. People go like, we lead because we're America. No, our values that we hold dear and what we represent to the world is not America to people that are oppressed in communist China, people that are oppressed in places in the Middle East where women can't do certain things and have hijabs and stuff like that. They look at us because we represent free humanity for them.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah. So
if you look at, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'd like to interject just one thing too.
Yes, sir.
That I really think conservatives need to have a little bit of dose of humble pie and need a kind of maturation. Because one thing that was great about the MAGA movement was there was so much youthful enthusiasm,
yes, sir.
shall we say. All right. However, there was a lot of naivete that I think contributed to the events of January 6th.
Okay.
I got a little bit of pissed that Trump didn't have a second rally at the base of the Senate and just make it all about him and all about the movement, how this will continue. Instead, there was a mob that was left to its vices. Now, who knows? You might believe some weird conspiracy that it was 4D chess just to get, Nancy Pelosi's laptop or whatever. But by and large, I believe that a mass of people, when left unattended, you know what I'm saying, idle hands are the devil's workshop,
got it.
and that will have forever tainted the term MAGA, right? Oh, to a certain extent. I don't think it's the end of the movement. I don't think it's any of that. But I believe that there was a lot that happened that day that could have been avoided through what I perceive as just general maturation. And the all of these young, new, politically motivated conservatives, as you call them, Craig Long, I think we need to look at people that promise the release of a Kraken and never deliver, and say, okay, we don't believe in this Kraken nonsense anymore. And I think we need to look at all the people that made tons of money on their podcasts and on their live streams and on all of their different venues, riling people up, saying, oh, something awesome is going to happen. Look, I mean, our announcement saying, hey, we'll see you on January 6th was like a party invite, okay?
Literally.
It wasn't a, we guarantee something's going to happen. So I'm with Dan Crenshaw in this one regard, that we need to understand that you have to be strategic and you have to be smart. You need to be powerful like a lion, but you also need to be smart and crafty like a fox, right?
Got it.
And so I think we need to do a better job of understanding that there's a lot of hard and unglamorous work that needs to be done.
Yes, sir.
Part of the reason why the left freaking runs the Senate and the House of Representatives and our local school board, even though we're supposedly a conservative city here, all right, is because they're not afraid to go out and win the small seat on the water board before they go up to the school before 2 weeks later they're called to be in the state Senate, before 2 years later they're asking to be running for Congress. And I think that conservatives need to go out and they need to reoccupy those slots. Boomer,
That's a good point.
Boomer conservatives got
more
rich
involved.
for 40 years. They got rich for 40 years without sending that elevator back down. And we need to reject the bad Republicans just as badly as we need to reject the bad policies on the left.
And you know what? I'm going to say this too, because you're bringing up this good point, and this is really what needs to happen. Everybody in this movement needs to understand something, regardless, like you said, whatever destination you come here, if you came here now, if you came here before, if you've been here forever, it doesn't matter. If you're part of this movement and you have a voice, it's your responsibility. Not your right. Your obligation and duty to start running for these local offices. I just had these conversations last night.
Let's go.
And I've had a lot of people reach out to me. I've had people actually asking me. And just as of last night, I was really talking to people about it. And some people came up to me and said they'll back me. And I'm not doing this because I want to. But I feel like at this point, I have to.
You brought up
and
a good point.
And if we all in the movement understand that in our local areas and say it is, Trump is only one person. It's now, it starts at the local level.
Yes.
We want to keep looking towards the president.
Right.
And Biden getting in or not getting in, or Trump getting in and not getting in, but we don't take care of home.
Thank you.
And now, I've my followers, people that support me have been saying it. People reached out, and now people are telling me that they'll back me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm young. I just turned 30 in DC. You know what I mean? I turned 30 in DC. But I'm looking at it and I'm going, how could I not do it with all these blessings?
You see what I'm saying?
And that's what I want everybody to come and look around, is that, go ahead, is that it is our duty and our responsibility. So everybody in the movement, start running right now. In 2022, we don't have time to sit down. 2022 is now our year.
Now here's the only
everybody needs to run right now.
Here's the only disclaimer that I will put on that, right, with conservatives running, because I had the same conversation with people asking me maybe I should run. But think about this. Look at how they prosecuted a normal American citizen like Donald Trump. Do you want to get into that swamp with those people?
I'll do it if I have to.
If they came after Donald Trump like that, imagine what they're going to do to you.
I get that. But again, fear is what is the ultimate equalizer of action. When you're tired, when you just don't care anymore, and you don't care about fear at that point, it doesn't matter what they're going to do because I don't
what's
care.
That saying? You can't kill someone that's already dead.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like at this point, Trump made a big impact because he was fatalistic. He said the military. There's talks that the military came to him and said, "Dude, can you run? Because we're at a pivotal point." At this point, it's like we're all seeing the movement. We all move forward, but at this point, how can we sit here and let one man sit here and have all this effect? And we can't go down swinging too. Like he's sparking the minds of men and women.
Symbolic swinging. It
starts at home.
Thank you.
It does.
But again, the fear is the ultimate equalizer of action. And until you have that, until that fear is no longer there, you can move mountains. And at this point, who cares?
During World War II, the U.S. soldiers going up against the Japanese, it was the most difficult thing because the Japanese did not care if they died. They would come at you. They would come at you with their swords drawn, with their bayonets. They would come at you, and bonsai. They would come at you. They didn't care if they were killed, and that's the thing. That's the type of effect you can have in the movement. If you don't care that you become a martyr, if you don't care that you will be martyred, if you don't care that you're going to be taken down, if you don't care that you're going to get doxxed, like a Trump type, a Trumpian attitude. There's nothing they could do to you. You can't kill someone that's already dead.
And what are they going to do?
We literally just lived up to every stereotype of the crazy psycho MAGA people.
Hey, so
you literally quoted kamikazes.
That's true.
Let's reassess
And
this
that's what I'm
analogy
saying.
for its
Do you
symbolic
really want to get
value?
that deep in the swamp with these people?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You call yourself bad, but if you get in the swamp of these alligators and that's their swamp, you may be a big bad alligator too, but you get in there with those alligators.
Yeah, but and that's only one person. But my main message is that since we have this huge movement and we have so many people all around, like you're in Florida, we're in Cali, there's other people in Texas, moving forward with this movement, one person, yes, they'll get us. But if we all run for local office and the movement comes, they can't stop us. That's how we take back America.
Okay, so I'll end this thing, just wrapping things up. I think what he's saying is be in the world, but not of the world.
there you
And
go.
don't think of yourself and the personal consequences of running for office.
Yes.
But think of the service that you would do
And
in
the
an
bigger picture.
unkamikaze
Yes,
bonsai with a bayonet kind of
I'll
way.
do that. I'll do
You know
it.
what I'm saying? You'll do that.
I'll
You'll do
volunteer
that,
straight
you
up.
know?
I'll roll with him.
And I'll stand behind you.
Yeah, I'll stand behind him. He's big enough. He'll take all the shots and slings and arrows. I'll come out of nowhere when he's down. And after we storm the Capitol, we're back through the gates, and he's down for the
Build a
count.
statue
I'll be
to
like,
my
I'm
name.
here.
That's all I want.
All
Build a
right,
statue.
so one last question. This has been an awesome conversation. We're going to wrap it up right here. Craig, how can people find you?
They can find me. It's hard to tell.
Well, this week, where can we find you?
Yeah, not next week when you're banned.
My name is pretty consistent across the board. You can find me on my bigger account is TikTok. It's Craig Long 45. Instagram is Real Craig Long 45. My backup page to Instagram is Maga Publicans, which I have a new show going to be launching soon called Maga Publicans.
Let's go.
And then they can find me on Clapper, Craig Long 45.
All right, sweet. So one last thing. You got to say it with us. What is the name of our show?
You ain't black. You ain't black.
And you ain't black.